What would you say to people who say they expect this defense to take a big step back just based on who you lost?
I mean, I don't think would be correct in like any shape or form. I mean, every year, every defense loses big people. I mean, we lost Chase Rashawn, Devin Bush. The year before that, we didn't really have any big names other than Mo Hurst, and we lost him. And then a lot of people stepped up. And then 2016, I mean, we lost 11 of 12 starters. And the next year, we were like the third defense in the country. So, I mean, we still have a lot of great football players on the defense, and I think a lot of people are going to step up, and we're going to be just as good as we ever were.
Your thoughts on the cornerback position and the way those guys are playing in the secondary?
I mean, we ask a lot of the DBs, the corners, the safeties, and I think that they bring it every day. And I'm glad I don't have to do what they do, but it's pretty amazing what they're able to accomplish game in and game out, every single practice, every single play.
From your perspective, is the defense any different schematically than it was a year ago? Is Don Brown coaching any different?
Every year I think everyone individually and coaching-wise learns a little something, adds a little something to the repertoire, and we've added just as much as we have in the past year by year. I think that we're trying to make ourselves better, trying to improve, and I feel that's what we've done in the off season.
Is there any specific things that he's added that's noteworthy?
I mean, nothing that I would care to say, but we're just trying to improve. So,
Josh Ross, where has he grown most since last year?
I mean, he was a great player last year, and he's taken more of a leadership role. Obviously, you gain experience from age, from playing, and then from the off season. I think that people would be amazed to learn just you don't really play football when you go throughout the summer, after spring ball, but I think every player grows a lot in that time just from, watching film, working in the weight room, and, I think that he's reaped the benefits of that. So
the Mike has a lot of responsibility in the defense. How's he handled that increased role playing that side?
I mean, he played a little bit on Mike last year. He played Mike in the bowl game. He played Mike when Devin Bush was out due to being tired or getting checked on by the trainers. So he already had that responsibility. He's just been able to capture it a little more, capture the responsibility a little bit more, get used to it, and he's doing very well. So
What have you seen from Cam growing and his growth?
I mean, Cam's a hell of an athlete, and he's going to be really good. I mean, if he was a few years older, he might be one of the best players on the defense, but he's still young, he's still learning, and it's surprising that at where he is right now, he's still a sophomore. So,
what's your evaluation of the running backs? What have you seen from Zach and Christian?
I think we're going to surprise a lot of people with a lot of positions, including running back. Zach Charbonnet, Christian Turner. They're performing very well. They're very good running backs, and obviously we still have True, who played a good amount last year. And I think we have a very strong running back room, and I think people are gonna see that when we play.
Has Zach surprised you being a freshman and didn't get in on the spring, obviously coming off the knee?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that he soaked in a lot of understanding through spring. College football is a lot different than high school football, and just being here, watching the offense work, understanding how we conduct ourselves, I think really helped him going forward into camp. So, I don't think he would be in the same spot that he is now if he did not come in early. So.
Back at the beginning of fall camp, Don Brown said that he'd never had a back seven that seemed as in sync together as you guys have been. What does that kind of look like, and why is it playing more in sync than maybe some of the past year's teams?
Well, I feel like a lot of the people that are playing in the back seven have been playing together for the last 3 or 4 years. Devin Bush, Josh Ross, Metellus, Kalik, all those guys are in the same class. I redshirted, and I started playing with them because all of them are like true seniors basically. And I think all of us, kind of started experiencing college football and getting on the field at the same time, and that leads to a lot of, that leads to a very strong bond. And, I think that we're all very good friends. We all know each other very well, and we all understand, what we need to do. I think that we have a very good rhythm with each other.
I know you're one of the smartest guys on the team. Have you thought about a career after football when it's all said and done?
I'm trying to focus on what's in front of me right now. I've thought about it, but I'll let that stuff work itself out when the time comes. Right now, the most important thing for me is football, the next practice, the next game, this season, and then I'll deal with what's after it, once it's all done.
Who are some of the defensive guys that have impressed you most in camp?
It would be a little bit of a cop-out to say, everyone, but, I think a lot of people have made a lot of strides. This camp have shown the improvement they've made over the summer. And, everyone in the linebacker room, I feel, will surprise a lot of people going forward into the season. I feel like the defensive line will do the same. And, I think the offense has made great strides that we'll also be seeing this season. So.
What kind of improvements have you seen from Devin Gill specifically?
I think that he's gotten a lot faster, a lot quicker, and it's going to be hard to say. It's kind of hard to say, what improvements, because I see him every day, so I don't see kind of like the big jumps. I see more like tiny steps. So, we'll see in the game, because we'll see how he's played in the past. We'll see how he's playing in the present, and then I think it'll be a big contrast. I think that his improvement will show.
Does losing a guy like Devin almost increase the responsibility of the other linebackers just because he was able to cover so much ground side to side?
He was able to cover up for some mistakes of the linebackers, but we've grown as a linebacker room as individuals, and I feel that we'll be able to cover each other. We might not have a top 10 pick in the linebacker room now, but that doesn't mean that we can't be as effective as linebackers, like in total. As everyone improves, I feel that we'll be just as good as we were last year.
How did you see the offense evolve from spring to camp? And was there like an aha moment in camp where it looked like it was all clicking for them?
They're competing with us really well, and not only has, I feel, the scheme improved, the individuals have improved as well. We have, a very experienced group of receivers. We have a very good tight end, very, very good two tight ends, receiving and blocking. And, I think that with the scheme, the difference in scheme, and then with the growth of the experienced people on offense, we have a very experienced O-line. I feel that, it's going to be a scary offense, I think, just as much as our defense will be.
How much is Shea taking ownership of it as a returning starter, as a senior, as someone who maybe they've said the offense fits his style more? I guess what have you seen from him as well?
I feel that he's done a very good job kind of keeping his head low and working. He has to learn a new offense. He has to work very hard, and they're asking a lot of him. And I think he's done a really good job kind of just keeping his head down and making sure that he gets done what he needs to get done. So,
Some of the freshmen that have impressed you on defense?
On defense, there are a few D linemen. There are a few DBs that I feel like we might see. Turner, a corner, Ozzie Smith, and I think another D lineman we might see, possibly. It's difficult to come into our defense because we ask a lot of every individual, a lot of responsibility. We ask them to have great technique, so it takes a little bit to learn, but I think that we have some talented freshmen that have the chance to see the field this year.
Anything else for Jordan?
Are you disappointed we didn't ask about your brothers?
No, not really.
All right. Thank you all for